Hello and welcome to the introduction for this course. What you should know before taking this course. You should know how to use a computer. You should be able to navigate your way around it. You should also know how to access the internet and navigate around the internet. Who is this course for? This course has been designed for anyone who's interested in building applications or apps for short, and also building web pages and other web applications. Also anyone who's interested in learning a new skill. Anyone also who wants to learn programming or become a developer. This course will be a good starting point for that. What you will learn in this course. This course is divided into 4 main sections. The first section is about how to program using HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And also the second section will be how to program with CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. We'll cover the definitions during the course. Also, the third section will cover how to program with JavaScript. So JavaScript is one of the main languages you use to develop web-based applications. The fourth section is a small section that will deal with small projects. At the moment we've got just the one project on there, but we can build on that and make it bigger. What is the course format and duration? The course is video based completely from start to finish. The course is 5 hours long. So it's quite a detailed course that will equip you with the basic skills to develop web applications. What will you achieve at the end of the course? At the end of this course, I expect you to know how to create a basic HTML document structure, also how to write a basic HTML code, so you should be able to use tags and open and close the tags appropriately. Also expect you to know how to apply styling using CSS to an HTML document. Finally, I will also expect you to know how to change the content of a web page using JavaScript. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the course. Bye for now.
Hello there. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the core web development languages. To become a web developer, there are 3 core languages you need to learn. These languages form the backbone of all websites and web content. These languages are critical skills for any web developer to have. So the languages are HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. This is the language used to structure a web page and its content. It is not a programming language, rather it is known as a markup language. It is called a markup language because it defines the structure of your content. The next language is called CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It is not a programming language, rather it is known as a style sheet language. So this language lets you apply styles selectively to the elements in your HTML document. So they are responsible for the presentation of the HTML content. So how the HTML content is laid out on the web page is done using CSS. And the third language is called JavaScript. JavaScript basically is responsible for creating interaction on your web page or web content. So it controls how the content behaves. For example, when a user visits your page, and for example, when they interact with the form or the elements on the page, that is controlled using JavaScript. When you complete a form on a website, that is done using JavaScript. That is an interaction created by JavaScript. When you click on a mouse button on a website, that is an interaction created by JavaScript. You can also look at these three languages in terms of parts of the English language. So you can look at the HTML as a noun or nouns. For example, the P tag or element is what is used to create paragraph. And then we can look at CSS as an adjective. For example, we can describe that a certain element should be certain color. And then the JavaScript can be described as a verb or verbs, which is a doing word. For example, prompt in JavaScript will prompt for a response from the user. So these are the key core languages that any web developer needs to learn or know. This is the Udemy website, and the actual content structure is created using HTML. The actual layout of the content is done using CSS. So the way the items or the elements are positioned and displayed on the page is done using CSS. Any interaction that you do on the page is done using JavaScript. For example, if I click here to sign up, you can see if you type in your name and anything here, and then you sign up, that interaction is created using JavaScript. In this video, I introduced you to the three core languages that anyone intending to become a web developer needs to know. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to install a couple of text editors. What are text editors? A text editor is a type of program used for editing plain text files. Plain text files are basically files without any formatting. Text editors are provided with operating system software. Let's take a look at some basic text editors shipped with their various operating systems. So we've got Notepad, which is shipped with Windows operating system. We've got TextEdit, which is shipped with Mac OS, and we've got Gedit, which is shipped with Ubuntu, which is a variant of the Linux operating system. Now let's take a look at some good cross-platform text editors. Cross-platform means the text editor will work on multiple operating systems, for example, Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. An example is Atom. Atom is free and can be downloaded from atom.io. Next, we have Sublime Text. This is a very popular text editor among web developers. It costs $80 for a single license, but you can test drive it for as long as you want, but you will occasionally get prompts about purchasing a copy. So it can be downloaded from sublimetext.com. Another good text editor, which is also free, is called Brackets. It can be downloaded from brackets.io. Let's install the Atom text editor by heading over to their website, which is atom.io. When you are on the Atom website, it will automatically detect your operating system. Click on the Download Installer button to begin the download. Once the download is complete, double click to run the atom setup.exe file, which is this file here on the bottom left hand corner. So just double click and that will open up the setup. So you may get a security warning. Just click run to begin the installation. The installation has started, so the screen will remain like this until the installation is completed, and it will automatically launch the application. You may get a message about using Atom as your default URI handler. So click no. URI basically stands for a Uniform Resource Identifier. It is a string of characters used to identify a resource. You can close the various panes by clicking on the X next to it. Just click on the various X and that will close the panes, and this will be your main editor where you write your code. So to exit the editor, you just go File and click Exit, and this is the icon that it creates on your desktop. Next, let's install Brackets by downloading it from brackets.io. It will auto detect your operating system. Click on the download Brackets button to begin the download. Once the download is completed, double click and run the installation. So double click and the installation should begin. You may get a security warning. Click on the run button to run the application. You will be prompted for a destination folder. Accept the default location. Also accept these boxes that have been checked and click next. To begin the installation, click on the install button. You may get a user control prompt. Click yes if you do get that pop-up. When the installation is completed, the installer will display a success message. So click on the finish button to exit. Let's quickly launch the Brackets text editor to see what it looks like. If you are on a Windows computer, you need to go to All Programs menu, and you should see the Brackets icon here. Just click on it and that will launch the editor. You may get a firewall block message if you are on a Windows. This is because Brackets comes with a Node.js server which needs access to communicate with the network. So you need to click on the Allow Access button to allow that to load. You should only have to allow access the first time after the installation. Brackets provides you with a sample code. So this is just a sample HTML code which comes pre-built into Brackets when you install it. So these are just some sample files. This is HTML and we've got a CSS file here as well. If I click on this, this is a CSS file. If you are running a Mac OS, you need to go to your applications folder and run Brackets from your application folder. So that's it for this video. To exit, just click on File and click Exit. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I will be showing you links to where you can download and install some popular web browsers. You need web browsers in order to access web-based applications. In this slide, I will list some of the most commonly used web browsers and their corresponding links to where you can download and install them. You may already have some installed already. However, I recommend you have at least 2 to 3 different web browsers installed on your computer. They are all easy to download and install. The most commonly used web browsers today are Google Chrome, which is developed by Google, and then we have Firefox. Firefox is developed by Mozilla. We have Safari, which is developed by Apple, and this comes shipped with Mac OS. Apple no longer supports Safari for Windows. We have Internet Explorer. This is developed by Microsoft and comes shipped with Windows operating system. We also have Edge. Edge is developed by Microsoft and comes shipped with the most recent versions of Windows operating system, for example, Windows 10. Another good web browser is called Opera, and this is developed by the Opera Corporation. You can visit any of the links displayed on the screen to download and install the web browser, but note that Apple no longer supports Safari for Windows. I have already got some of these installed on my computer, as you can see on the screen. I will strongly recommend you have at least Google Chrome and Firefox web browsers, as they are mostly used by web developers and designers for developing and testing. Hello and welcome. In this video, I will introduce you to some key questions you need to ask before you begin any development. Before you do anything, you need some ideas. What should your website actually do? A website can do basically anything, but for your first try, you should keep things very simple. We'll start by creating a simple web page with a heading, an image, and a few paragraphs. To begin, you will need to answer these questions. What is your website about? Do you like pets? Do you like games? Do you like travel? And so on. What information are you presenting on the subject? Write a title and a few paragraphs, and think of an image you would like to show on your page. What does your website look like? In simple high-level terms, what's the background color? What kind of font is appropriate? Formal, a cartoony looking font, bold and loud, subtle? These are some of the questions that you need to answer in order to help your planning stage. Hello and welcome. In this video, I will introduce you to sketching out your design. Get a pen and paper and sketch out roughly how you want your site to look. For your first simple web page, there's not much to sketch out, but you should get in the habit of doing this now. It really helps. You don't really have to be a Van Gogh. This is my sketch. This is what I have sketched out on paper. So there will be a text at the top here and also a name. And then this is an image. When you click on the image, it will change to another image. We've also got a few paragraphs and unordered or bulleted list of items. Also got a paragraph with a link embedded. Also a button at the bottom of the page. When the button is clicked, you can change the name on the page, say from John to Jane or whatever name you prefer. The page will have this inner content area and also this outer content area here that will have a different color. You can design your website whatever way you like, but try and keep it simple at this beginner stage. Hello and welcome. In this video, I will show you how to assemble the various files used in building a website in a way they can talk to each other. A website consists of many files: text content, code, style sheets, media content, and so on. When you are building a website, you need to assemble these files into a sensible structure on your local computer, and also make sure they can talk to one another and get all your content looking right before you upload it to a server. A server basically is a powerful remote hosting computer that is always on 24/7. This is where your website will live if you want the world to access your website. There is usually a charge for this hosting service. When you are working on a website locally on your computer, you should keep all the related files in a single folder. That single folder should mirror the published website's file structure on the remote server. This folder can live anywhere you like, but you should put it somewhere where you can easily find it. Maybe on your desktop, in your home folder, or at the root of your hard drive. You can also create subfolders to store images, media files, and so on. The index.html file contains the main content of the website and also connects to the subfolders. It is usually stored in the root of the project folder. So the index file does not get stored in a folder itself. It's usually in the root of the main project folder. Choose a place to store your website projects. Let's create a new folder called My Projects or similar. This is where all your website projects will live. So I've already done that. I've created a folder called My-Projects. Notice that they're all in lowercase. So the way I created this folder, you just right clicked on my desktop. I went to New and clicked on Folder and just gave the folder a name. So just do the same, right click on your desktop and just give the folder a name. So this is going to be the main project folder for all my website projects. Then inside this folder here, I'm going to create another folder that will store the content of my first website. And I've decided to call this sample site, but you can call it something more imaginative. So if I click on this now, you can see I've created another folder here. Folders are also called directories. So this is going to be the main project folder for my first sample website. So if I open up this folder here, you can see I've got other subfolders. I've got a subfolder for images. So if I have any images I want to use for my website, I will store the images inside this folder. If I've got any JavaScript I want to use, I'll store it inside this folder called script. If I've got any CSS, I'll store it inside this folder called style sheet. And then in the root, this is called the root. In the root, I've got the index.html file. This basically is the home page for the website. So when someone goes to your website, say for example google.com, they'll be loading the index.html file. So this index.html file will link to these other subfolders. So any file I place inside these subfolders, I will link to them from this index.html file. So when someone calls or goes to my website address, they'll be referencing this index.html file, which also has linked these other files inside these subdirectories. It's also a good idea to name your folders and files in lowercase. You can see I've named my subdirectories in lowercase, and here also you can see my main project folder is in lowercase. This is because many web servers are case sensitive. So for example, if you have the wrong format, if I called a file, if this is in lowercase and I try and upload it to the server and change it later to uppercase or vice versa, it may not work. So you have to maintain the format. If you've specified lowercase, make sure when you are invoking or trying to call the files inside here, make sure they are specified in the same way. But it's generally a good practice to name your files and folders in lowercase with no spaces. To make the files in the individual folders talk together, we have to make sure the file path between them is correct. A file path, basically, you can see here, this is known as a file path. A file path is the location of the actual files in the directory. So this here is referred to as a file path. So when I'm linking to this index.html file, because they are all in the same directory, I don't need to give the full path. I just need to indicate the name of the folder / the file, and that will link it to the correct path. So this is the ideal way to assemble your files and subfolders that you want to use to build your website. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.